introduce. Okay, so today we have, well, let me get started. If you're ready to ditch the social media guesswork and start showing up with strategy and soul, in this practical session, branding and marketing with Briana Wucinski, founder of SUNSEV Creative, will help you align your brand. Uh, Briana is the founder of SUNSEV Creative, a branding and marketing consultancy that helps entrepreneurs align their brand with their business goals. With 10 plus years of experience across startups, nonprofits, and national brands, she brings strategy, creativity, and soul to every project. She's a proud TCU grad, certified yoga instructor, and passionate about marketing that makes an impact. We are ready for you.
Good morning, everybody. How are we today?
Wonderful.
Good, wonderful, amazing. We love to hear it. So thank you, Tracy, and thank you, Lourdes, and thank you to TWU for having me speak here today. I am Briana Wucinski. As Tracy said, I'm the founder of SUNSEV Creative. That's a mashup between sunshine and 70s, and my mission is to bring the soul to people's marketing. So I know that social media is huge. How many of you here use social media? Right? We can't really not use it, right? I'm curious though, why do you use social media? And if you just kind of raise your hand, you can kind of tell me why you personally use social media or how you use it.
Keep up with friends.
Keep up with friends.
I tag the businesses that I work with and try to move them.
Nice. So cross promotion for business.
Promote my own business.
Okay.
Networking.
Right. So does anyone here use it for fun?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Like we maybe take a break at work, we kind of sneak away, we take a brain break when the kids go to bed, maybe watch a couple cooking videos. That's also how we use social media. But you guys are already touching on what I was going to ask, which was, why does your business use social media? And you guys kind of touched on that. Networking is a great opportunity. Tagging other businesses, selling yourself and your products are the reasons why you might use social media for a business. Here are some figures though, and these are from the top of 2023. 74% of adults online are using social networking every single day. So your customers and your potential clients are on social media. And it's a free platform that your business can use to promote yourself or promote your products. So that's why we're kind of here today, is if you're not already using social media for your business, we're walking through kind of how to use it and why you should be using it. 57% of your sales funnel may be accounted for by social media. That is, again, across all industries, but that is how much potential there is to actually make real sales when you're online. And 81% of consumers research online before making big purchases. And we have another stat later on. 5 out of 10 people are going to go to your social media page before they even consider buying from you. So if you don't already have a social media presence, it is imperative after you walk out today, please create one. So, like I said, nearly half of customers today are going to look at your social media to discover your business. I know that me personally, when I'm going and I want to know if a business is running a sale, I check their Facebook page. If I want to know if they're going to be open or closed for a holiday, I'm checking their Instagram and seeing what promotions they have going on. If I'm looking at if somebody's released a new product line or looking for maybe customer testimonials, I'm going to search that company name and look at people's reviews of it online. These are all different ways that your customers are going to use social media before even going to your website, possibly. But first and foremost, social media is not for selling. I just want to say that first and foremost. Your job on social media is to connect with your customers and to build that relationship with them in order for them to feel like there's a sense of trust and confidence whenever they're going to buy from your product. This is Seth Godin. He's a great marketer. He's written numerous books, and his kind of mission really is to create marketing that really resonates with consumers and builds a relationship. So I love this quote from him, because marketing is no longer about the stuff that you make. It's about the stories that you're telling. So in today's day and age, we've got giants and behemoths like Walmart, we've got Amazon, we've got Costco. Your customers, again, a lot of you guys are also in service-based, but if you are like a CPG product, let's say, you have huge competitors who can beat you on pricing, they can beat you on convenience. So why is somebody going to come to a small business down the road versus one of those big giants that has tons of marketing and can post online?
Can you define CPG?
Consumer packaged goods.
You want to create community?
You want to create community, or they want to buy from you. They ultimately want to be buying from the person behind the business or supporting a small local business. That is why a lot of people are going to choose to come to you rather than like a large dental office, right? You just said, I can come to you, I'm mobile, I'm right here in the square. That's your unique selling proposition versus like Mint Dentistry, whose billboards I see on the highway. Yep, right, exactly. But I'd come to you because I want to support a small business, I want to support a women entrepreneur, and I feel comfortable with you and I trust you. So that's kind of where social media is really playing a role within your marketing strategy. But where do we start? What do we do when it comes to social media? Because there is so many different ways that we can approach this. So today we're going to just kind of walk through a step-by-step guide of building your social media strategy so that it doesn't seem so overwhelming when you're looking at getting onto the platforms themselves. So the first one is reverse engineering. So I really think that before you even start working on your social media, set your goal. What is it that you want your social media to do for you? Whether it's just building brand awareness, like I just want people to know I exist, whether it's tagging your clients and letting them know, thanking them for having a relationship with them. Maybe it's ultimately driving sales. Maybe it's driving consulting calls and bookings. But ultimately, once you set your goals, that should really inform how you're approaching your social media. And then also with goals, if your goal today is just to start posting on social media consistently, that's a great goal. That's a goal. I don't want to like downplay that in any way, shape, or form. Whatever your goal is, though, having a type of benchmark and having where you started with today. So if your goal is to increase your followers on Instagram, great. We need to know how many followers you currently have. We need to maybe look at how your current, like last 10 pieces of content performed, how many views you're getting. So you just kind of at least want to take a look at what is your social media today and how can you track it as you start to really invest your time and energy into it. The next one, consistency is going to be key. I am a branding person. I love a fully fleshed out brand. I have another presentation I like to do that your brand is not your logo. Your brand is so much more than that. It's your colors, it's your font, it's your product photography, it's how you speak to people, it's your tone of voice, it is the customer experience that you get. And all of that needs to come through on your social media as well. So if, let's say this is Miss Sue, and Miss Sue has seen a Facebook ad for you, for your business, maybe an upcoming promotion. Well, then she goes on Instagram and she sees that same colors, that same promotion, and she's able to connect the dots that, oh yeah, I saw this on Facebook. So if you are going to be posting on multiple platforms, you definitely want to make sure that you have that consistency across them using cohesive visual elements. So if you'd like to use circles, great. Make sure that there are circles across the different posts and not reinventing the wheel and making something different for each different platform. Same thing too with video. You don't have to record a different video for every platform. You can have the same kind of message and you could slightly tweak what we call a call to action at the end of the post. And so you can kind of test and see which way is going to work better. So for Facebook, maybe it's following a link outside the platform, whereas Instagram, maybe it's hitting the follow button. So you can reuse the same content across platforms and have that consistency, but maybe just slightly tweaking for each individual platform based on best use cases. Third, we got to know your audience. You cannot reach everybody. I work with a lot of startups, and it's really hard when somebody is maybe releasing a new platform and they're like, it's for everybody. I want everybody to download it. That's great. There are hundreds of millions of people in America alone, and you're never going to reach all of them. That is absolutely impossible. No marketing person can do that. If they say that they can, they must have a $1 trillion budget, because it's just not how it's going to work. So getting really fine-tuned on who your target consumer is, and what goes into their buying habits, what goes into where they live. So I'm kind of curious for the ladies in the room, who is your target audience? Don't say everybody. That's the only wrong answer.
I would be single woman.
Okay, so how old are they?
I would say between their 20s and 60s.
Where do they live?
United States and around the world.
So let's put this into perspective. If you went to go do a Facebook ad, if you said women 20 to 25 to 60 across the United States, that's going to be that's that big giant million budget, like bucket.
Okay.
And so if you wanted to run a Facebook ad for them, maybe some of them would see it, they'd see it once, maybe twice. You really want to narrow that. So you want to say, are they in DFW? Do they live outside of the city center? Do they live maybe in the neighborhoods surrounding it? What's their education level? Have they gone to high school? Have they completed high school? Are they really well educated? It comes even down to like what their shopping habits are. Are they the type of person that likes to get a deal and go to Costco? Or are they more high end? Do they like a luxury shopping experience? All of these identities that play into your target really are going to help engineer your social media and help you create, again, that brand and that sense of presence. And that's going to ultimately land and attract the type of customer that you want walking through the door. And people like them. So specifically, I've got a client. Can you go back?
Oh, I'm
Sorry, I don't know if I did. I might have.
Yep.
But, oh, sorry.
That's okay.
But I've got one client who's releasing a real estate app, right? Very exciting. And her target market, the person that she built this app for, the person that she wants to download it, she says she's like, I'm building it for Tracy, the blonde real estate agent in the white BMW who comes to her appointment with a Stanley Cup and her keys are jangling, but she's got a nice, pretty blazer on. She's dressed really great. Maybe she has a hat. Like, that is how specific I want you to get when you're thinking about the person who's going to follow you on social media, because you really want to resonate with that person. And if you have someone in mind, it's a lot easier than when you're starting to create your content. You're not just like, what am I going to post? Right? Like, I know that that's something that every entrepreneur is going to face. It's like, I don't even know what I want to share today. Well, if you know that you're talking to Tracy, it might be easier to say, oh, you know what? Tracy might really like that I got a new Stanley Cup, and maybe I'll just post my new Stanley Cup color and how excited I am about it. Like, that is how simple social media can really be. And I think that sometimes as entrepreneurs, we build it up in our minds that it's a lot more complicated than it has to be. And so we don't do it. I know a lot of entrepreneurs just are like, I'm just not even going to mess with it because I'm scared of making a mistake. And it's really about figuring out what is going to work for you in your specific brand. But knowing your audience is just one step. The other step is starting to build that relationship with them. So social media is a two-way street. It is not a billboard. It is not something that you just drive by, paste it up there, and maybe hundreds of millions of people are going to see it. No. If somebody is going to go and communicate with you, if they're going to leave you a comment, if they're going to send you a message, they expect a response. And that's just the way of building a relationship with your customers. A good rule of thumb is within 24 hours of receiving a post. So maybe having notifications on your phone is a good idea for your business. I know personally, I don't like to have notifications on my phone. So then I know I need to check it in the mornings and make sure that I'm up to date on my business page. I have a question. How many of y'all check your business Facebooks every day? Great, amazing. Do you respond to comments? Awesome. And how has that affected your business?
It's like you're building relationships. If you don't respond, that kind of is a response in itself.
Right. Right? Like, I'm going to get turned off. Like, if I send a text message to a friend and they didn't respond, I'd be like, oh, did I do something wrong? Or are they mad at me or whatever? It's the same kind of context within the aspect of a business. You definitely want to make sure that you're responding within the tone of your business or personally to that person. But think how special it is if you get a response back from a business. You feel really special, and that's how you want to make your customers feel. If you make them feel special when they come into your dental practice, obviously then you want to make them feel that same way on your social media page as well. Next thing is content. So this is really where the juice is for social media, is creating quality content and this intersection between what your consumers want and what you're able to do. Right? I like to say this as well. When we see content from these giant brands, they have huge marketing teams behind them. They have a videographer on staff. They have somebody that's posting for each platform. That's not the expectation that consumers have from a small business, but they do want to see that you're posting content and that it's up to date and that it represents you and your business. That's what they want to see. They want to get to know you. So making sure that it is high quality. So if you are posting content, I do recommend getting like a tripod set up or something where you can actually have a fixed point for filming on your phone. I also recommend getting a small ring light. They're like 20 bucks on Amazon, 40 bucks if you want a really fancy one. But just even having that good lighting is already going to make a huge difference. If you want to level it up a little bit more, getting a microphone, getting a small lapel mic, and just having that fed into your phone, all of that is going to create a higher quality content that your consumers are expecting to see on a small business page versus maybe what you see on your friends' pages, right? We have a different level of expectation for a business versus just a connection that we're making. So investing in some of those is a really great way to just sort of amplify your content. But I think really more than anything, it's about making sure that what you're posting is something that they care about. So who struggles with figuring out what to post for content? Great. Why is it so hard?
Guess yourself.
Second guess, you don't know if it's the right content. What is the right content?
Who your target is.
Great. See, she's already learning. We're already doing a great session. But yes, exactly. So you want to think about, again, that target consumer and what do they want to be watching, right? They probably don't want to be sold to all the time. We're going to get into that in a little bit. But what interests them? What type of content is going to resonate with them? What is it that is going to get them to stay on your reel, let's say, for the full 90 seconds when our attention span is about 3 to 5 seconds now, right? What is it about your content that is going to keep them there versus not? And I will tell you, it's when you don't sell. But essentially, you know who you're speaking to. We know why you're talking to them, but now you really need to focus on what to say. And a strategy for this is content pillars. So these are key themes that you can always kind of go back to and create multiple pieces of content underneath. So let's say you own a workout business. We're going to use that for an example. You might want to post workout tips. You might want to post, oh, this is my outfit for the day for my workout. You might want to share a review of a workout process that you did. You might want to be like, oh my gosh, so winded today, did so many jumping jacks. So hard. You want to post that struggle behind it as well. And you maybe want to show a before and after picture, right? You want to show that progress. These are all content themes, and you can have multiple posts underneath each one, and it gives you a place to start. I know that Lourdes, when we were talking, the TWU Center has very set content pillars. They have a Tuesday tip. They show a women-owned business. They also feed in their events as well throughout there. But I always know when I'm seeing a TWU post because it's maroon, and it's normally going to be something related to women in entrepreneurship, and I can expect that. So that's a great way to start. And we're going to look at, again, promotion versus engagement. So today we're talking mostly about an organic social media strategy. This is one that isn't going to cost you anything. You're not putting budget behind it. So that's why we're not focused on promoting. It is organic. We want people to enjoy the content itself. A great kind of differentiator between promotion and engagement. So promotion would be, here's my event, come to it, please buy tickets, what have you. Engagement is, wow, my friend's going to that event and it looks really cool. I want to go as well. right? It's not a hard sell. It's just kind of representing and building this relationship with your consumers where they want to be a part of what you're doing, and it inspires other people to join them as well. Because we're really trying to build that online community of people who want to support you in your business. And a good rule of thumb when you're doing your content pillars is 20% promotion. So that's 1 out of 5 posts is maybe a discount, is maybe a promotion that you're actually running, is maybe a ticketed event that you're trying to sell. The other 80% is story driven. It's adding value to your customers and it's not selling. Because again, we're going to say when we were talking about why we as users are on social media, it's not to be sold to. It is the point of why your business is on social media. It's where our data is being used on social media, but it's not ultimately why users are on it. So it's really about creating that community. So making sure that you also choose the right platform for you. So you don't need to be everywhere. Like I said, you're not going to reach everybody. And there's a lot of platforms. We're just going to look at an overview of a few. But I really think basing your content around what's going to perform. So if you are recording videos of yourself, great. You need to be on something like YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. If you're writing long form pieces about research, let's say, your audience is probably not going to be as video focused. They're probably actually going to be wanting to read things. So LinkedIn might be a better use case for you, or even having a blog on your own website where you can kind of control that content a little bit more. If you've got something like a beautiful product, something like Instagram, where you can actually hit shop, or Facebook is going to be a better use case for that as well. Booking a consulting call kind of depends. Are you okay being the face of your business, and do you want to be recording video on that? Or do you want to have someone else be kind of the face of the business and start routing it through there? So picking the medium based on what type of content is going to be that next step. So we're going to run through a couple of these. There is a lot of text on these slides, and as a graphic designer, it's driving me crazy, but it's a lot of good information. So Facebook is kind of the OG. He was the very first one. Mark Zuckerberg started this. They have 3 billion monthly active users still. People think Facebook is dead. It's not. However, of those people, I will tell you 70% are over the age of 45. So it is an older demographic that is using Facebook. However, it's an active user base. And mostly what they're using it for is actually messaging friends and family. That is the top thing that is Facebook, that Facebook is used for. Video is starting to perform really well, getting really nice engagement on Facebook. So if you are playing around with Reels, making sure that you share those to Facebook as well as Instagram. And links do extremely poorly. So if you are trying to do something like promoting your business and saying, hey, click on this link to register for this event, the Facebook algorithm will actually deprioritize that over organic content that keeps them in the platform. So just know that those paid ads that you're launching that maybe have a link in them are not going to perform as well, because the Facebook meta algorithm wants you to stay within the platform. They don't want you to leave it. The other one is LinkedIn. Obviously, LinkedIn is a great professional B2B platform. 60% of the users on LinkedIn are 30 plus years old. They have the highest median earning of any social media platform, as well as the highest education level out of any users. There are 900 million users worldwide. They're mostly suburban and urban dwelling. However, their daily use, 7 minutes. So somebody who's getting on LinkedIn is just going on to maybe check their messages, maybe check a couple of posts, maybe congratulate a new job connection. They're not spending massive amounts of time on it. So again, when you're thinking about your content, okay, do you want to be putting all of your eggs in your LinkedIn basket if that's not where your customers are spending a ton of their time, right? So we're reverse engineering, going back to who your target audience is and why they're using that platform. Paid ads do really well on LinkedIn. They do eat up the most amount of your budget. So if you are going to play around with a paid ad campaign on LinkedIn to reach people, I would make sure that you've tested it on maybe another platform with a lower budget before you go and launch something on LinkedIn. They do have a higher engagement, ironically, A lower daily usage, high level of engagement though. So people who are on LinkedIn are active and like to click and comment and reshare. Then we've got Instagram. Obviously, this is really about, it started out as posting and sharing video. However, Reels have really taken off. So it's definitely reprioritizing Reels, less of the actual static photography. 60% of this audience is going to be young adults and millennials. So that's where that age group is really spending the majority of their time. Really short narrative type story content is going to perform the best. And if you're going to have video content on there, you want to make sure that you have text on the video so that people can listen, even if they're not able to have the sound on. So like for instance, if I'm doing one of those like sneaky little video breaks, if your video doesn't have captions, I'm automatically skipping it. And there are platforms that you can use like CapCut that can help create the captions for you, or they can be auto-generated by the platforms themselves. 90% of the users on Instagram will follow a business to start their buying journey though. And I think that that's an interesting statistic. So if I'm on Instagram and I follow your business, that's maybe the first step that I'm going to take to engage with you and your content. So if you aren't on Instagram whatsoever, you haven't been, I recommend to definitely have some sort of presence on there because there are going to be users, especially if you're looking at young adults and millennials, who are going to want to find out your information on there. TikTok is one of the most downloaded apps today. It has 1 billion active daily users worldwide. The US has the largest audience, which I thought was interesting. I did not know that when I was looking up some of these stats. And it's most popular among Gen Z, with 25% of their user base being 10 to 19. So again, if you're thinking about your target consumer, if it's a woman ages like 25 to 60, she's not on TikTok. So you don't really need to worry about that platform as much. But if you are trying to get a younger demographic, if you're selling a children's product or a teen product, or you're trying to get users who are maybe about to go to college, that's where you want to be, and that's where you want to be spending your time. 40% of people who use TikTok do not have a Facebook. So again, these opposite ends of the spectrum, that older demographic is there on Facebook, that younger demographic is really spending their time on TikTok. 95 average minutes of daily use per day for users on TikTok. So they're on there and they're watching content. I will tell you that. So that's the other thing. We've got 7 minutes of daily use on LinkedIn, 95 minutes of daily use on TikTok. So you have a lot more opportunity to engage with that audience than you do on LinkedIn. So it's just, again, understanding what is going to be the mix, the right mix for your brand. It does have also predominantly women on the platform and has the highest engagement rate of any platform. Then we have YouTube. YouTube has 2.5 billion users. That is huge. So YouTube is also a massive social media opportunity for you. It's the world's second largest search engine after Google. So if I'm trying to figure out something, a lot of people will go to YouTube to search that rather than going to Google. Also, we'll say ChatGPT is, I think, slightly skewing these numbers as well. But the longevity that is associated with YouTube also is huge. The SEO and search engine optimization from that platform is better than any other platform. So if you post a video on there, if you have information in the caption about your business, that's going to be easily crawled by search engines and have that longevity. So if you do choose to post one long form content on there, it really can live on and get views over time. Whereas if you just post something like a reel or a story on Instagram, it is going to be a flash in the pan. So YouTube offers a lot more longevity. However, with that, it is ideal for more long form content. Yes, there are YouTube shorts now. So if you're going to post something on Reels or on TikTok, you could do YouTube shorts as well. However, it's really ideal for educational or demonstrative content. That is really where YouTube is going to do fantastic. The downside of it, the thing that just to know, maybe it's not downside, but it's something to prepare for, is that it is going to require more effort than any other social media platform. People do expect a level of professionalism on YouTube, a level of production quality. So again, when we were talking about that lighting setup, having your script, being able to read it, having a nice quality camera, so you're not, doing the portrait mode, you're doing the landscape mode, so it's a higher pixel quality. All of those are going to be just things to note for social media or for YouTube and the social media channel. However, something I also want to note as well, YouTube is a great content compounder. So if you record one long 10-minute YouTube video and you put all this effort into it, maybe you hire a marketing person or a videographer to help you record it, you can also ask them to chop that up into smaller 15 or 30-second bites, and you could use those across your other social media platforms. So while YouTube is an investment, it does have longer payout returns in the long run. So it's just something to consider. And then last is Threads. This is also kind of X adjacent. This is going to be more text-based. It has 300 million monthly users, nicknamed the Twitter killer. So people are starting to go to Threads more than Twitter or X. And it's really built for those real-time conversations and community. It's more casual, a little bit more positive than Twitter and X. Twitter X is really very news focused, very topical, like of the moment. It's a little bit more quirky and for like fun commentary, I would say, than the other platforms. Particularly useful if you like microblogging or you like to have short kind of quippy brand tones, or want to comment on what's going on in modern day. It also is a less crowded option. So if you want to try to break into a social media market that maybe doesn't have as much noise as Facebook or Instagram, Threads could also be a great option to start to test out for your business account as well. And this is my pro tip. It is better to start strong, 1, 2, maybe 3 platforms. Better than to say, okay, you're going to leave this session and do all 7 at once. I would rather have everyone leave here and pick a platform that they want to really perfect, get that down, and you can always expand and start to figure out what's going to work for you content-wise later. So that's really my kind of pro tip. Next, we got to plan our content and we got to follow through on that content. So it's one thing to set your content pillars, to figure all that out. Great. I want everybody to pick a day of the month or the week that you do your content recording. And maybe I use this example, like if you have a storefront and you know that Mondays are really slow and you're not getting customer base, amazing. Plan out to do a video content shoot for a couple hours when you know it's going to be slow. Or, you know, if you've got some free time on a Sunday, you've got some kids that are really good with video, you could say, hey, hon, can you help me out? I just need to record like an hour's worth of video. You need to have a script though, when you're going into these, and have a plan for how you want to do the content. But picking one day, batching out your content. If you're nervous about having the same shirt on in the videos, you can pick a neutral shirt. People are not going to notice if you're wearing black or white. Or you could really do an outfit change if you want to really level up the content. But picking that one day and using that to be your filming day or being your content creation day is going to make your life easier. And you just know that, okay, social media day is today, and I'm just going to be on this. I'm not going to focus on my email. I'm not going to focus on consumer calls or anything like that. I'm just going to make sure to knock this out. And if you want help planning your content, you can scan this link. I know we're also going to send out the presentation. But HubSpot is a customer retention management system, and they have a massive library of marketing resources. So being able to find a content planning calendar is what you would search for, but don't reinvent the wheel. There are so many templates out there and ways for you to plan your content where you can look at, okay, these are the days I want to post. I'm going to put the dates in. I'm going to work on my captions. I'm going to put them all in. And I'm going to make sure that they align with my Canva templates or my videos. And it can really just organize you so that when it comes time to actually post the content, it's not overwhelming and you're not going into every single platform and getting lost in there, because it can be a lot to do routinely and with consistency. My other pro tip, when you are doing your content, make it groovy, make it sound like you. That is what your customers want. They want to know who you are. They want to pick you over somebody else. I oftentimes say this, you could walk into a coffee shop and like throw your coffee mug and hit another marketer, which is what I do. What I do is not unique. The way I do it is unique to me, and my customers want to work with me because I have this fun, warm, groovy aesthetic. And I appreciate that, and they appreciate that in me. So that's how I connect with my consumers, and that's why they're going to pick me over another marketer. I'm not. I jokingly said when I started my business, I was like, I'm not going to be that like millennial pink marketing girl in like a blazer. Like that's just not me. That's not me. And there are a lot of girls who do really well with that, but that's not my brand and that's not my voice, and that's not why somebody's going to come and work with me. So I urge you all to also consider like what makes you unique. What is the human side of your business? What are the things that are hard for you? Because they're probably also hard for other people. And that's what we're trying to find on community, on social media, is that community. We just don't want to feel alone. We want to feel like that business understands our pain points and what we're going through. And that's why somebody's going to follow you. They're going to buy into that character. It might not be exactly who you are, but it might be that branding character that you're starting to develop. And that's who they want to follow along that journey with. Collaborate and cross-pollinate. Like I said, social media is not a solo silo. We are all here on it together, and there are all women entrepreneurs in this room and online. So first and foremost, the thing I will say too, if you're online, it'd be great if you could drop your social media handle, whichever preferred platform you'd like, in the chat. That would be great. But looking and finding other small businesses in your area, ones that complement you, and working together with them. You'll reach their platform and they'll also be able to introduce themselves to your platform. You can do cross promotions. Again, I keep using this kind of like workout guru example, but let's say I'm a coach. I can go and partner maybe with like a local clothing brand, or maybe somebody who owns a boutique that sells sportswear, and do like a little workout co-collab video, and we both share that, and maybe we both do a giveaway, and that doubles the reach of that. So looking around, and I know Denton, more than a lot of places, has a huge entrepreneurial community that likes to work together and support one another. So I do encourage you all today, when we finish the presentation, to go follow each other on Instagram, on your LinkedIn, and connect and just start to widen that network, and maybe send out a DM and ask somebody to collaborate. The worst thing that they can say is no or ignore you, and you move on to the next. But the opportunity is huge, and you'll get in front of people that you might not have been able to touch organically yourself. And biggest thing, we started off at the beginning with goals. We also need to audit and analyze what is doing well. So if you are starting to post consistently, amazing. That is awesome. If you see that one reel is posting or is going more viral, let's say, or is more engaging than something else, okay, how can we lean more into that content pillar? Maybe that's what's going to be more successful. If you notice that a static photography post of a product didn't really perform well, okay, that didn't work. Maybe we need something that's going to be a little different. How can you continue to tweak and edit your social media strategy? Like I said, it's not a billboard. You can't just set it and forget it. And you can't just post and ghost. You really do need to be looking and learning and staying up to date on what's happening with social media. I will also tell you too, social media is a great place to get education on social media. So if you are wondering what hot topics are happening, if you want to understand what's going on with AI and how you can utilize that, I didn't really touch on AI in this presentation specifically. But if you want to kind of level up your skills, TikTok and Instagram are great and have content creators who are going to teach you how to be better at content. So while you're on there, going and making sure that you're also following people within your industry and seeing what they're doing, and really analyzing what's performing well on their channels as well. So if they're doing a video about tips and tricks for how to keep your teeth white, great, that might be a great content idea for you as well. You know, think top 10 things, top 5 things to avoid that are going to darken your teeth. So things like that. And then just making sure that you're doubling down on that content that really resonates with your audience. And then lastly, just do a fun little dance. Honestly, social media is an experiment more than anything. So just making sure that you're keeping an eye on your data is first and foremost, and trusting your intuition that whatever you're posting is going to feel like you. That's really the thing that you have to trust, is that people who are going to be attracted to you, you're going to find those people and you're going to find your customer base on social media. You are not for everybody. We're going to just say that again. You are posting for that person who is going to resonate and who ultimately wants to work together with you. And so it's a balancing act of analysis, of artistry, of strategy and spontaneity. So if you see a fun trend and you're like, I think this could work for my business, I'm going to do a fun little TikTok dance or whatever. Amazing. Go for it. The worst thing that happens is it doesn't perform well. And then you just move on to the content. That is one of the best things about social media. It is a very short-lived experience. So if there's one thing I can also give you guys confidence on, it's that if you kind of make yourself a little cringy, as the kids say, it's okay. Like it will move on. The algorithm will move on past us. And at least you tried it. And at least you reached somebody that maybe wouldn't know about you otherwise. So that's where I'm just going to keep us today and end here. It's just making sure that you guys know real people are looking to connect and learn on social media. And that's where you want to find your consumers. So this is also a worksheet. If y'all want to scan it, they're also going to send it out as well. It's kind of just a little way of working out and having some space to ideate on some of the things that we talked about today to help you kind of create your strategy. And if you want to connect with me, my name is here at the bottom. You can find me on LinkedIn or on Instagram. And I encourage you all to connect on social media.
So we're going to do questions now. So we do one online and then one in person to make sure everybody's there. Online, do you have any?
We do. How important, this is from Barbara, is it to have polished video with perfect lighting, well-scripted, professional equipment versus being more casual, self-made video?
So I'm going to go back and say that depends on your customer. Does your customer appreciate a high quality delivered product, or do they like something a little bit more casual? I will tell you, typically millennials, since we grew up in a more polished social media era, I am a millennial, we prefer a more level of polish. I will say younger Gen Z, Gen Alpha, like chaotic, casual energy. They would rather see something a little bit less polished. So if you're going for a younger demographic, I think it's okay to be a little bit more casual. I also say this as well, if it's an older gentleman, it's kind of hit or miss. You got to really dig down deep into what they're going to enjoy and what they're going to respond to. You could also try A/B testing. You could try a casual video, see how that performs. Maybe you make a small investment and then you want to try out how that performs, and you can kind of compare and see which one is going to have better analytics within the platform.
Right. Thank you. Do we have a question in here? Marge.
So I was told that on Facebook, because that is my demographic, I have a business Facebook page and then a personal page. But I was told that really the algorithm isn't looking at the business pages at all, that you really need to have a person. So should I create a personal business profile? Because I don't want people on my personal life.
That's what I was wondering. I was about to ask that.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not okay with having, I'm assuming there's like family photos and things like that, you don't want it to be the business.
Yeah.
You can. Facebook is a little tricky though, because they might flag it as spam, which I had another client just happen. So just be really careful and making sure that if you have like a business email, registering your business Facebook as that. I know a lot of realtors specifically will do that. They won't do the Facebook business page because they know that it's not going to get read, but they will make a page just for their kind of realtor listings, and they'll post on that consistently and not taint it with their like family one.
I think that's my cousin. He's a realtor, so yeah.
Oh, funny enough, yeah, exactly. So that's what they'll do. So you can try that. It will perform better in the algorithm than a page will.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, excellent.
Okay, online. Any more questions, Kimberly?
No, not at this time.
All right. Well, in here, there you go.
I know it probably depends on the platform and your audience for sure, but is there a certain time you
Okay.
recommend?
Okay. So yes, but so if you Google, let's say, or you ask ChatGPT and say, what is the best time to post on Instagram? Da, 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 da. If you also go to Hootsuite, HubSpot, all these different, they're all going to give you different times. So I don't trust anything that you read online. Anything that blanket says this is when users are on. The only thing that is consistent, I will tell you, is like Fridays after 2 p.m., nobody's on social media. That's when like the drop off happens. So like specifically, I'm on LinkedIn a lot for businesses. I will never post anything after 9 a.m. on a Friday morning because the algorithm, it just won't perform. And it pretty much is across the board. What I would recommend is if you are posting on social media, you can go into your analytics dashboard. I know specifically with Instagram is the one I'm thinking about, and they will show you when your users are most active, and they will tell you when the greatest amount of your followers are in the platform. So if you go on your professional dashboard under analytics, you can find that information, and that's what really matters to you. So those like blanket term, yes and no. So I would say trusting your own analytics when you do that data dive and looking into that and using that as your reference point, and then just hammering down. And again, A/B testing is a great way to also figure out when is a good time, like posting one in the morning and one in the afternoon, maybe a week apart on the same day. And you can kind of see which one is going to perform better. Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, great info. All right, online, any questions?
Not at this time, no. What an amazing presentation. Oh, wait, there's one now. Do you want to post before or while the users are most active? So if you know your user time, do you hit them while they're active or just before they get active?
I like to do just before. That's like my personal, I would say about like 15 to 30 minutes before. 15 really, because specifically with like Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, the ones that are more instantaneous, you want them to see it you want it to be like up in their feed when they log in. And so it's a little bit more recent. If you're doing like a paid post or on LinkedIn, the algorithm lags a little bit. So that one I would say to do like an hour, 30 minutes or an hour before they're going to be active. If that's helpful.
Absolutely. All right. Any more questions in here?
Blue sky?
So I don't know much about it. I'm going to be totally honest. I also, frankly, will show my cards a little bit. I was not a Twitter girl. I'm still not a Threads girl. So I don't know a ton about it. I do know that a lot of the nonprofits shifted to Blue Sky. There was a lot of I'm in a communications group on Facebook for marketers, and a lot of nonprofits shifted to Blue Sky, and they're enjoying it. I don't know if their SEO is as good as X was. That's the one thing I wish I kind of had some details on.
All right, well, great. I think we got them all. Well, we want to thank you for being our speaker. You can give her a hand. All right, well, we have a few announcements coming up. So August 21st, our Accelerator Houston applications will open. Tuesday, August 26th, our Start Her Grant opens. That's for businesses 5 years or less. On Tuesday, the 19th, we have from 6 to 8, join us for the Flow. It is a conversation workshop for women in insurance and financial services. This is in person only. So if you're in any of those fields, make sure that you check up, and we'll be here that evening for that. Save the date, October 23rd is the Governor's Small Business Summit here in Denton, and it is woman focused. So make sure you save the date for that. You'll be able to sign up for that soon. So we thank you so much for being here. We're gonna give it back to you.
Kimberly, you're a host now.
Wonderful. I just wanted to share that the Houston application is open now until August 21st.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
All right, bye.
Our speaker is getting great kudos. That was an amazing presentation, wasn't it? So I am going to launch the poll for our virtual room. Our speakers always appreciate the feedback as well as us for planning. We are big time in our planning process for the rest of 2025 and into 2026. So we really appreciate your input. I'm going to launch that now. Yes, so you should have that coming up to you. And then we'll do another round of breakouts. I'm also going to put a few things in the chat for you of those upcoming events that Tracy spoke of. While you guys are doing the poll, I'll get that done. Oh, the starter grant, you definitely need that. Putting the starter grant in here as well. That opens August 26th. Winter Summit. Yes, Barbara, let me pop over to my links on that. That's actually on a different page. Didn't think about that. Oh no, I have it right here. So the Governor's Summit happens monthly, you guys. In October, it is specifically focused on women-owned businesses and will be at CW. So we can see each other in person. That would be nice. And let's see. Let me make sure I got you all the links. Got the grant dates, got the summit, and I'm going to put the advertising link in one last time as well. You just need, remember that all of our advertising, all of our services are free. And I like to semi-joke that since we're funded by the state legislature, you pay for them every time you buy a Starbucks, you know, with your tax dollars. So use those services that you are very much paying for. Looks like our poll is done, so I'm going to end that. And I will do in one more round of breakouts. But before I do that, does anyone have any questions that I can answer? Feel free to come off mic. You don't have to put it in chat. Okay, I'll give you another round of breakout. Remember, if you have an ask it. You just never know who's in the room. And equally, if you have something to offer, include that. You should be being invited. Right now, if you end up in a room by yourself, we'll see that. And I will move you to a room that has other humans. I'm going to move some people. Darn it. I just moved someone from one empty room to another on accident.